Hey guys, this is Isabella Illustrations here. Welcome to a new video. So today's video is going to be a special book video. Yes, another one. I'm really liking reading lately, so I thought I'd make some reading related videos. But anyway, so I recently, as you guys know, watched season 2 of Shadow and Bone, and I had some thoughts about it, and feelings. There were some things I didn't like, some things I did like, but I decided to reread the Shadow and Bone trilogy for a second time, which I did a review for my first time reading them, so this will be a second review, I guess. I finished reading this series for the first time 2 years ago, so it's been a bit of time, so I decided to read them, see if they measure up to the first time I read them, see if they're still as good as I remember. But also I wanted to see the differences between the show and the books, more specifically, because I hadn't read the books in a while, so I just really wanted to refresh my mind since I'd recently watched season 2 and it covered the rest of the books. So I thought I'd make a video on this. So without further ado, let's get to it. So, first off, the first season of Shadow and Bone, as I've said before, was perfect. It was amazing. And I loved it a lot. I loved it more than season 2. And season 1 covered book 1, which was Shadow and Bone. I reread this, and the stuff that happened in the book that they didn't include in the show was actually very smart. The stuff that they cut out was actually stuff that I didn't like in the book, so I'm glad they cut it out. They changed a few things. And I like the way they changed things in season 1 from the book 1. I actually loved the changes they made. It made it better. It made it so great, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's no complaints I have. But yeah, I forgot how much stuff happened in the book that didn't happen in season 1, but I'm actually not that bothered by it. So I think they did a really good job. So that's all I gotta say about book 1. But before I go to the other 2 books, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have these new stickers on the book covers. I have them on all 3. These are special stickers to cover the permanent Netflix stickers that they put on the books, because I hated those stickers. I hate stickers that are permanent that you can't take off. I absolutely hate those. I don't know why publishers do this. They put out new covers with the Netflix irremovable stamp, and it's so annoying. We book lovers don't like this stuff, but they still do it anyway. So it gets it really upsets me. Anyway, maybe some people it doesn't bother them, but for me it did. So I went and bought these stickers to cover the Netflix sticker, and they're pretty nice. I enjoyed them. I just got them in the mail today, so I put them on all my books, and I really like them. They're nice quality, and I'm finally happy that I don't have to see those ugly Netflix logos anymore. No offense to Netflix. But if you guys want to know where I got these stickers, in case you guys want to cover the Netflix logos on your books as well, I went on Etsy, and I went to this shop, Tiffany Dawn Creations. She has an Etsy shop, and she was selling these stickers, and I gotta say, I'm very happy with them. I highly recommend them, and yeah, if you want to get some, please go and support her small business. This is not sponsored. I just decided to do something nice for a fellow creator. So yeah, I will try and put some information about her in the description for you guys. So yeah, let's move on to the next books. All right, so the next 2 books in the Shadow and Bone trilogy are Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising. And these 2 books are pretty thick, and they decided that for season 2 they were gonna try and stuff 2 books in 1 season, which I felt already that was a dumb idea. I thought that since the show was called Shadow and Bone, that they were going to do a book every season. They didn't end up doing that. So I don't know the third season's going to be on another duology, but we're not talking about that. So season 2 adapted these 2 books, which a lot happens in these books, and a lot of stuff was taken out in season 2, which I knew watching season 2. I had a feeling. I was like, stuff is missing. But I hadn't read this in a while, so I didn't really remember all the stuff that they took out. They took out quite a bit. But also the stuff that they did take out and not include, it made sense. Some of the stuff in these books that were boring, they didn't include. And I'm actually happy they didn't. There were some things that I liked in the books that they didn't have time to include because they were doing 2 books in one season. And it kind of made me a bit upset, but you know what? I'm happy to have any adaptation at all. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as season 1, not by a long shot. Season 2 felt like it was made by different people. Season 1 had a certain feel to it, and season 2's feel just like completely changed a bit. I mean, not completely, but just it did feel different. And I don't know what to say. I mean, the stuff that they took out from these books, I think they did a good job. But at the same time, I was just a bit, I don't know what to say. I'm still kind of mixed. I mean, the books definitely made me like the second season better. Rereading the books and seeing how much stuff was kind of dumb in the books, and I'm glad they didn't include in season 2, made me like season 2 a bit more. But there's still stuff in season 2 that I didn't enjoy. Season 1, there was nothing I didn't like. It was perfect. I absolutely loved it. Season 2 just has some problems still. But I'm glad I reread the books because it definitely made me appreciate season 2 more. So I'm happy. I thought they would make me hate season 2 more, and I didn't want to hate the season. I mean, I didn't hate it. Just disliked it a little bit. But yeah, I think they were smart with what they did considering the amount of time they had. Plus, they had a lot of characters that they had to put in as well, like the crows, which aren't even in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. They just kind of wanted to add them in, and I had no problem with that in season 1. In season 2, it felt kind of forced and felt like they didn't need to be there, and it took time away from the main storyline where they could have included a bit more from these 2 books. So there are things they could have done to like make the season a bit better and more full, because I did feel like they did the trilogy a bit too fast. When you're reading the books, yes, you get more time with the characters and stuff like that, more time than you would just watching a TV show. But it felt like even less time because they condensed the trilogy into only 2 seasons, which is 8 episodes a season. So that's only 16 episodes we got so far for just this whole trilogy, which was kind of not enough in my opinion. They should have just done a book a season, and whatever stuff they wanted to cut out, they could have cut it out, but they could have done things differently and added maybe new stuff, which would have been maybe a bit better. I don't know. But personally, I felt like season 1 felt like the beginning of the story. And so having season 2 end the story already with the main villain dying just didn't make sense. It felt like it's basically like a story that has a beginning and an end. There's no beginning, middle, and end, which felt too quick. I don't know if they're gonna bring the main villain, the Darkling, back for season 3. I don't know. In the books that come after this series, he does come back, but a lot of the readers felt it was fan servicey, so I don't even know if they're gonna bring him back or not. So I don't know how that works, but making your main villain be already defeated season 2 when you have a 3-season show doesn't make sense with the way they seem to set it up in season 1. So I felt like the main villain was defeated too fast. I felt like we didn't get as much time with our favorite characters, which I feel like is probably because, you spend more time with the characters in books. But anyway, I feel overall also that rereading the series, it definitely, it mostly held up. I reread all these books, and I pretty much like them the same amount as I did when I first read them. I mean, the second time around, I think I liked Mal more than the Darkling this time around when I read them. But besides that, there is some stuff that's kind of annoying, as I've said in the books. The first one is my favorite, but it did have some issues, but not as many as like these two, where sometimes I got a little bit into a reading slump, but not for very long, just a few days or whatever. But anyway, overall, these books still stand up. I recognize that they do have problems. This was the author Leigh Bardugo's first series, and it definitely shows, but it's still one of my favorite young adult series of all time. It's my favorite. And I can say, after reading other series as well, other like popular YA series, that this still is my favorite. It does have problems, it does have issues, but the characters are amazing and I love them, and that's why I keep coming back to reread this series, because the characters are so amazing and I love hanging out with them. And even if the story sometimes had its low points, the characters, just coming back and reading about the characters, made it worth it. And I love this series. So I say it still holds up. I still love it just as much as I used to 2 years ago. And yeah, that's it for this video. I don't really know what to call this video, so whatever I end up titling it, let's hope it makes sense. Because this is kind of like a book review, but also kind of a book to show review, so I don't know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video, whenever that is. So, bye-bye.